Well, good morning, friends. This is Randy Schultz with the Bird Hunter's Thoughts, and I'm going to try this go live thing on YouTube, and we'll just see how it works out. Let me put this over here like this a little bit. So, anyway, if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to talk about, just go ahead and text me, I guess, and we'll see what I can do. The I just wanted to say this: the end of the first season, I used my GoPro, had a great time. I had some learning issues with it, mainly with where I attached it to my vest. And, I tried to do it up here. I tried to do it down at my belt buckle, and that didn't work out too well. So, and my vest didn't work out, or my chest didn't work out well either, because I was trying to latch it onto my strap on my vest, and then when I leaned over, I was just looking at the ground. So I went back and looked at some of the videos, and I'm going, this is not working. So I bought a chest mount, which I thought would take care of that, and it really did. I think the last video, or the first video I used it on, was the last one I made, which was Revenge of the Desert Bird Hunter, Gambles and Blue Quail. Started out in New Mexico and went over to Arizona and then back to New Mexico. And that chest mount worked great. I mean, it was stable. So I got back here, and one of my viewers said, "Hey," on Facebook, she said, "Hey, look at my mount." And she showed me a picture of her mount on the bill of her cap that she wore. And I told her, I said, it's just too heavy. What I was using was a uh, elastic strap, basically, that fit over the top of my hat, and it didn't work. It didn't work. But I saw that, and I said, "How did you do that?" And she said, she told me the little clip mount that goes onto a tripod. She says she just drilled a hole through the bill of her hat and screwed it on there and showed me, and it took me exactly an hour to do it. That include scrounging up all the parts. So I mean, it was great. Let's see. Here's what I've got now, right here, and working like a champ. See, and so I can wear it now. Have that, and I've walked around through. I ran the dogs back in the pasture the other day wearing it, and rode in them on the 4-wheeler. And my biggest concern was that I would end up, walking along and looking over here and looking over here and looking, just looking, and it being a problem. But it really wasn't. The GoPro is just so stable that, it wasn't bouncing around like the early GoPros. And it just, if I just remember to uh, just be a little bit more stable in my head movement, it'll work great. So I'm excited about that. And that's going to be all the new videos coming out. We'll have that. Also, I'm going to try and find out if I've got some NASTRA trials coming up, which is what I do, NSTRA, National Shoot to Retrieve Association, Field Trial Association. And so I'm going to ask if I can video or take my GoPro out there and video my portion, nobody else's. I don't need to video anybody else, but we'll see how that works. And you'll get a chance to, I'll learn, and you'll get a chance to see a little bit about how NASTRA works, which I really encourage training your dog uh, to NASTRA standards, and then take them bird hunting, and not do it the other way around. And I actually wrote an article for the NASTRA magazine about that. And I've done it both ways. And let me tell you, it is way better to take a dog and train them to, point, back, retrieve, and obedience, and all that stuff that NASTRA gives points for, and get that done first before you just take them out and turn them loose, and then try to bring them into a NASTRA trial. And they're not used to boundaries and all that kind of stuff. And the dog can adapt way more easily from a NASTRA background to bird hunting than they can the other way around. I've seen it. Dogs can do it. I'm not saying they can't, but I'm saying that by and large, I would say in probably 80, 90% of them have a way easier time going from the obedience and style and class and the restrictions a little bit of the NASTRA field trial going from there to bird hunting. And you may be thinking, well, heck, they're used to running around a 40-acre field. They're not going to be able to get out. Not a problem. Trust me, trust me on that. At least my little bootlegger Brittany's had no problem. And I'm laughing because they're not close to being bootlegger Brittany's unless you have 400 yards is you got big boots. But they had no problem adapting. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. So as we go on to next year, I'm already planning hunts for Montana and Wyoming, mainly Wyoming this year. I think I'll do a week or so. I'll do a week in Montana just because I love hunting sharptails in Montana, sharps and huns, and I've got some good spots. And even last year was the worst year I've ever seen, and we've got birds up, and I've got video proof we got birds up. So um, I'm going to be hunting in Montana a week, but then I'm going to go down to Wyoming again, and I'm going to hunt blue grouse, and I'm going to hunt um, chucker, chucker, and also Hungarian partridge and sharp-tailed grouse, and I'm going to do it all within 10 days. Um, and it's easy to do. You just have to make sure the seasons are all open, and that is what hit me last year. I got down there too early for chucker and huns. The season wasn't open, and I hunted blue grouse. Was successful. Had an amazing hunt. That might be one of my most favorite hunts ever. Um, Hunting up in the bighorns, panting and gasping for for breath, and then going and catching a you know 18-inch rainbow. I mean, uh, if you don't like that, you might as well just hang it up. So anyway, I did that, and so anyway, after that, after Wyoming, let me see, this will be October, and you know, you may or may not know, October is my favorite month. In fact, I wrote 2 books, Endless October and Endless October Season 2. And that was a little shameless self-promotion. You can get them both on Amazon. Um, and they're both paperbacks. You can get them in Audible too. I narrated them myself. So in the first book, Beware of Chapter 7, I wrote it and I still can't read it. It's maybe a couple of years from now. But anyway, in October, I'm going to be going grouse hunting again. I had such a great time last year or this last season in Wisconsin. And I had a blast hunting with a friend of mine. And it turns out that I gave up hunting in Michigan, in the lower thumb of Michigan, to go to Wisconsin. And that was the best year they have ever had. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. May do them both. In fact, I think I will do them both. I think I just made that decision right now. So I'll go to Wisconsin, then I'll go to Michigan, or vice versa, maybe a week each. And then in November, I may go back to Wyoming. Typically, that's South Dakota, North Dakota, prairie chicken time. And I love, love, love hunting prairie chickens. They are amazing. How are they different than sharp-tailed grouse? I don't know. I do know, oh, it's a whole different bird for one, but and they kind of overlap, or they do overlap. A lot of times you'll be getting up sharp tails, and a mile later you're in a bunch of chickens. So that's my South Dakota trip, and I would love to get some huns up there too, and a pheasant or two. This last trip, I actually shot 2 pheasant. It was just their unlucky day, and I had Shaq on the ground, and he knew what to do. And he gave me 2 opportunities. We put 2 in the bag. And it's fun, but I was actually hunting for prairie chickens at the time. So that'd be November, and then December I go out to Arizona for Mern's Quail Opener, which is, I think, the first Friday in December. I'm not exactly sure. It seems to be that way. It's usually around the first weekend of December, and I check on it. And I'll stay there 3-4 days hunting Merns, and then I'll go to the desert and I'll hunt my gambles and blue quail again. I have a love-hate relationship with those birds. They are a blast. They are big, they are tough, and they're fast, and they will run. And if you have a young dog, you will ruin that dog. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me on this one. Don't take a young, unbroke dog out there. You take a dog out there that's seen it all and done it all, and is not going to be ruined by watching a covey of 40 birds stay 50 yards in front of him as he sprints across the sand through the pump jacks and the oil wheels on the oil fields and picking up sand burrs and everything, everything else. But I do love them. I do love them. The nastier, I did notice one thing though, the nastier ground is pretty much blue quail country, and at least the gambles. The gambles are in the cactus too, the heavy cactus, but but just the nasty oil field, pokey, stinky sandbur country. That's blue quail, and I love hunting them. I just do. I don't know why. Uh, that's just the way it is. So that's December, and I'll stay out there till I'll start out in Arizona. Then I'll move over to New Mexico and hunt blues gambles, and then I'll stay with a friend of mine over in eastern New Mexico there, and we'll hunt together for a while. So um, that's December, and then January I'll go back out to Arizona and New Mexico. So far, that's what I pretty much decided to do. I would like to, I'd like to get an Idaho hunt in there sometime. Which the best time probably would be October or November. I've never been to Idaho in November. I don't think I have. Been there a couple times, and those valley quail are amazing. Valley quail, oh, and chukar, valley quail and chukar, and huns. And one day we had chukar and we had huns. Um, so I just enjoyed it. I mean, it snowed, the snow level was down. My friend that lives there said, Randy, that's great because they don't like the snow. So they'll get below it. It kind of localizes them a little bit. At least they won't be on top of the mountains. And we went out there and we got right into them and we had a blast. And Cap was only a year old. I actually had to carry him out. The pads of his feet were bloody from the lava rock. And I got a picture of that. And so, I mean, he's 12 now, man, almost 12 now. So that was an awesome trip. But I would like to get an Idaho hunt in there, I think. And so something's going to have to give, which is fine. Last year, I made the decision to stop going to the same places over and over. In fact, in New Mexico, the second trip I went, New Mexico and Arizona, I did not hunt any of the same places I hunted the first trip. That's hard to do, especially when you know there's birds there. Especially when you've gotten 15 coveys walking with one dog on the ground and you got 15 covey rises over that dog in one spot. You definitely want to go back. You really, really, really want to go back. But I made it a point not to go back and to find other places, and I did. And I found sometimes better places. Sometimes I struck out. I didn't find anything. But the joy, my satisfaction in this game is using my head to figure out where they are and then using the dog, put him down on the ground with an opportunity to find birds where the habitat is correct and there's enough ground that we can work properly. And that is where I get my happiness from, is when I get in at the end of the day, I'm satisfied that I did what I could do to put that dog where he needed to be. So that's my schedule. That's be 5 trips. Um, and that's, so I'm getting up there in years. I know I don't look it, but I've got maybe 10 more years left. And when you get to the point where you're telling yourself you got 10 more years left, it's time not to leave anything on the table. It's time to get out and get that puppy and go get the good truck, get the nice camper, make friends, and get out there and put some birds in the bags for your dogs and video it. Take pictures of it. So at the end of all this, I can go back and all those videos I'm going to take for the next however many years, I'm going to be able to go back and I'm going to be able to look at each one of them. And not only will I have it in my logbook, which I highly encourage you to use. I'm still looking around to see if I've got my logbook here. Aha, I do. I've got five of these, five of them so far. Let's see, 30, you know, 31, 32 years of hunting every day. And so I can go through my logbook and I can look at my videos and I can pretty much relive a bird hunting life. So anyway, I've got about that many years left, and I'm not going to leave anything on the table. Uh, I've worked hard all my life, two jobs, most of it, and when I retired, I retired. I didn't. I didn't buy an airplane. I didn't buy a hangar. No, I bought bird dogs. I'm just throwing away money. bird dogs and bird dogs and fly fishing. Now I'm just totally worthless. Well, thanks for watching today. And nobody knew nobody knew I was going to do this, including myself. And so nobody checked in. Nobody had any questions, and that's okay. Uh, Next time I'll advertise it, and we'll be able to maybe take some questions from somebody, and I'll answer them as best I can. We kept this to about 17 minutes, and I think that's just about that's good. That'll keep somebody's attention, I suppose. Don't forget to go to my blog, which is abirdhuntersthoughts.com, abirdhuntersthoughts.com, and my podcast, which is A Bird Hunter's Thoughts Turn 'em Loose, and that's on is on Anchor FM, but you can find it everywhere. It's on Amazon, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. Turn 'em loose, basically. Bird Hunter's Thoughts Turn 'em Loose podcast, and then the blog. And on the blog, there's links to buy my books. There's links to the YouTube channel. There's links to everything. It's kind of a start page, abirdhuntersthoughts.com, and you can go there and you can visit my sponsors, Dr. Tim's Dog Food and ESP America ear attenuators for shooting and protect your ears. Don't be a dummy like I was, and get them and wear them. And of course, Dr. Tim's best food dog or best food on the planet. So, which is exactly what I feed, by the way. So anyway, that's about it. And I'll go ahead and play with this a little bit and get it up as soon as I can.